Move that's your fine self. Devils can't destroy what God's built. You know the vibe still. Ultramagnetic. Sign, sell, then deliver. For
Yes, sir, family. How are we doing? We're doing something different today, because we got to expose these demons. And we got to bring these things to light. So before we even get into this, it's your boy Divine Messenger here, another message. And understand, before we even get into it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages, because this one right here is beyond a divinity that society can comprehend. And I just hope that, I don't even hope, because why is consciousness hoping? I just know that this video is going to do well, because we have to help our, not even children, our young adults, because there are no children, there are no kids here, but there are a bunch of babies who are literally our ancestors. These are adults that are growing up, they just haven't grown up yet, because obviously, as we can see from the picture, many of these kids are sacrificed. Many of these kids are placed within a certain frequency in their life. And a lot of times it's like many people are under so many rituals, under so many frequencies, under so many manipulation tactics by pedos and sexual abusers and rapists, molesters. Like, there's so many things. So here are some videos. And I'm sure somebody's going to be like, okay, so what did you show us that for? And we have to understand, when it comes to consciousness, when it comes to just a way of thinking for Hollywood, but not even just Hollywood in general, because what is it? All these teachings come from a certain tree, a lineage of other beings. So we have to understand from a divine perspective of where these things come from, because people got to understand why people who are evil, why people who are elite, they can do what they do and get away with it through a price that they pay. And it's because these tactics that they're doing these things for a reason, because somebody did these reasonings to their reason, to their subconscious mind, and that's how they were groomed and that's how they grew up. So as we're watching these documentaries, just know Nickelodeon will not just be the only one exposing what these pedos are doing. There are other reality TV shows and other certain shows and movies and all these different industries. They will come out into the future and say what they have been through. But the thing that's interesting to people, we have to understand, why are parents sacrificing their kids to a bunch of pedos for money? And it's because many of these parents see that they wouldn't do something like that, so they rather put their child through it. Not only that, trauma spices up people's lifestyle. Not only that, people want so much money, they want to get away from their 9-to-5 job. So it's the fact that these kids are sitting here, going through hard labor, and they're going through things to where they had to pay the price, for a price for them to get their family out of these certain situations, into a nice house, nice home, nice cars, drive and do what they got to do. But all these pedos are around them, all these production assistants and all these different directors, all these other producers that are in here producing nothing but bullshit to these people. And it's like they're embarrassing everybody on camera and off of camera as well, because they're trapping themselves. So it's hard for a kid who grows up in the industry, it's hard for them to even know what's going on, because as they're young, 5 years old, 6 years old, their subconscious mind has no idea what is even going on. So if a pedo can manipulate your mom or your dad's mind to let you stay with them so your career can blossom, these parents will believe it, because they're unconscious of what's even going on behind closed doors. Because how can a parent even know what Hollywood's frequency is when they don't even know what their own frequency is? It makes no sense. That's the devil's playground. So it's like people cannot sit up here and get mad at why these people do this shit. It's because parents allow this shit. It's like, you should want to die for your children. Your children should not be around these demonic forces. But people are so fixated on getting their child that taste of fame, that name and notoriety, that attention that they always crave and deserve. They always want their kid to be the upper echelon. They want to be the hierarchy. They want to join these different fraternities. But you know how these things are going. So with this next slide right here, these are just the different islands around Epstein's Island, but there are other islands around that. And I made a whole different live about what goes on these islands, but they banned it. That's cool though, because we always can put in some work. But as we can see with these islands, people have to understand that these islands come from fallen angels. The whole simulation in general is a fallen angel's dream. It's a manifestation. This is literally the ego perspective of what Satan thinks or deems to be worthy of his manifestation, his affirmation, his abundance, his prosperity. Because think who gave him this lifestyle, the Most High. He got sent here for a reason. This is his domain. And who do you think gave his domain? Like, who do you think gave him the keys to this domain? Because for one, it does belong to the Almighty. But the lower reincarnation of that is the fallen perspective of our Most High. But you have to be divine to even understand that, and where Satan or Lucifer come from. And that's why people say as above, so below. Because as we're seeing, this is nothing but the higher perspective of what we see in the lower perspective. So as we see the ocean, that is the mirror image of what our sky looks like. So these beings are hiding in the skies and between them clouds and on land, which is why there are security breaches, there are security guards who sit on these islands, and they hover over the land and make sure nobody is coming, nobody's trying to spectate what's going on, nobody can see nobody can see the evil that they're doing. Which is why these different islands that are ran by higher elites, they're made with that security for a reason. Because if a random person came and exposed what was going on, that ruins the whole operation, that ruins the whole pyramid scheme. Which is why there are different pyramid schemes in our reality. So as we see different islands, people don't get to understand that their favorite celebrities go to these islands as well. Because these people groom anybody they want to, and they're pillaging and they're destroying lives and families because they have been destroyed. They have went through that same type of treatment, that same type of grooming, which is why they do what they do, because they want people to feel their pain. They want people to feel that hurt. They want people to always remember what they went through just for money. And that's what they do. They basically make us trap ourselves. And once we trap ourselves, then that's when they come in and they start helping. They start manipulating. They start loving us in a way we've never been loved before. And this is when they attack us, when we're at our weakest, when we're at our most vulnerable state. That's exactly what a demon will do. A demon will make sure you're at your weakest moment, your most vulnerable state. And once they got you right where they want you, then you have nowhere to go, because you got rid of the people that you claim were family. You got rid of the people that was your mom or your dad, quote unquote, because you wanted to be your own manager. So as we see these movies, these different documentaries that are going to come out in the future, even with Diddy's house getting raided and all that, we can make a video on that later on. But with these different indications that are going on, people have to see beyond the surface level what things are happening or why these things are happening, which is why these documentaries, they won't really go into detail what's happening to these kids, because they would break an oath if they were to really expose what is going on, what has been going on, which is why they speak in code. And then as we go further into just what this realm of thinking is, because it's just so sad how many children, how they're just sacrificed every single day just for a piece of paper that doesn't even exist spiritually, but it exists physically. And a lot of these kids are groomed on these islands, and it's so protected, it's so hidden, it's so, militarized, or it's just a militia. Because I don't think militarized is a fucking word. What am I talking about? But the militia that run these different lands, it's like they're just hiding what these celebrities are worshiping. And it's like many people are idolizing these celebrities just because of what they do, the art that they produce. But it's like they can't even, they're more closer to sex trafficking than a regular citizen. So they get to see what's going on these islands where they can't say anything because everybody's in on it. Everybody just wants that money. So everybody stays out the way. And of course, they don't want their family to get killed. And they don't want to get killed as well, because this is where whistleblowers will get assassinated or these characters will get killed off. And it's just hard for people to fathom or stomach, which is why these higher elites, they don't expect people to understand their wicked ways, because they're not even from this dimension anyways. That's exactly why they have these different islands out in the ocean, because you have no business being there. So now when it comes to what they're like with consciousness and why pyramids are such a symbol, it's because these beings know that these pyramids are nothing but gateways into a different realm of consciousness. And they were able to manipulate these things with crystallized pyramids as well, that they were able to manipulate with their own frequency when we lost in different wars. So because we lost these wars and we allowed them to overtake our ego or overrun our ego, now many people are put in a certain algorithm so where their mind can even comprehend the messages that are about to go on with this year-end again the year afterwards, because we're in a new year now. So new levels, new devils. So these new devils will keep getting exposed. But there will come a time where unconscious people aren't even able to comprehend what unconsciousness even is. That's how asleep they are. There are some people who are so asleep that they are not meant to awaken into the divine being that they always been, because they're too stuck in their low perspective ways. They're too stuck in Satan's ways. And it's because it's comfortable for them to lie in, because they keep lying to themselves as they're living in a lie that they lie in every single day. So people have to really understand the truth in this fake reality, because this world is not real. Our brain perceives it to be real, and it's because we are under a holographic realm of light and darkness combined together that they have constructed, and our ego has constructed it as being real. And we have to understand with this picture as well, we share a realm with both light angels and demonic forces cosplaying as angels. So we are both on the fence of what we deem as good or bad. Good or bad doesn't even exist to a higher entity, but your choice is just your intention. But there are many angels that have been demonic forces because they have forgot their ways. They were too stuck in hell to realize what's going on, which is why these extraterrestrial deities are on these certain islands, because they had to consume their life force. They had to consume what they think is, I would say, you can say adrenochrome, you can say crack, you can say any kind of drug. They need these things to stay alive, because if they don't, then they're not able to stay alive within their own lineage, and they won't be able to pass down their agenda. So by doing that, they have to make sure that they stay in an enlightenment that people can't seem to comprehend. They make sure to keep themselves visible in plain sight, but we still can't see them in plain sight. That's why visible spectrum has been reduced from where it should be at. We should be able to see everything, life's glory and its disappointments. We should be able to see everything, but it's a fact that we're not able to see everything for a reason, because our mind wouldn't be able to comprehend that. And so people would be killing themselves if they were really to be able to see and comprehend what's going on. Not only that, all the money they made from their pyramid scheme, it wouldn't make sense for the whole world to really see what's going on, because then their industry, their infrastructure, their architectures, all their land, all their money, all their empires will crumble, it will fall, and they will be homeless. Not only that, they won't be able to have power that they want. They won't have people to work for them anymore, because people will be too awake to what this simulation has brought upon itself. So when over billions of awakened beings really get to wake up and understand what the fuck is really going on in the simulation, then we begin to allow ourselves to not only work for ourselves, but we'll be able to wake up to God within ourselves, and we won't have to go outside of ourselves to find a God that's already within us the whole entire time. Which is why we have to see that everything that's going to get exposed is going to get exposed for a reason, and we have to save these goddamn kids. Because it's not just about us. There are many kids every single day who are going through abuse. Many people are going through trauma. Many people are going through so many certain stages of just witchcraft, of wickedness, of satanic programming, nothing but an algorithm. And people want to sit all day and celebrate pagan holidays and watch distractions all fucking day. And it's like not knowing that we're literally harming our own subconscious mind, and we will regret it when we get older later on in life, because we're not doing anything for the betterment of our own good, for the sake of our humanity. We had to wake up and understand what the fuck is really happening within our backyards, which is why pedophiles exist, which is why their CEOs, their principals, their teachers, their parents, their uncles, their cousins, their brothers, their sisters. It's just, when it comes to polarity, we have to really, like, if you're awakened and you're watching this, you have to wake up and not even wake up. You have to be awakened, and you have to see right through the facade of what demons think is reality, because we share a world with these demonic forces and they're unconscious. So imagine living in a world with unconscious demons that don't even know they're demons. So it's like people know they're not demons, but their ego thinks that their demonic program is so normal they can't break out of it. Why? Because they're trapped. And that's what other demons do to demons. Like, it's like when you're a baby and you're going through abuse and like your body is shot and you don't know how to move out of a situation. They're grooming your subconscious mind. They're programming you to be just like them so that you can pass on the same type of program, the same type of trauma. And this is what will make you powerful. This is what will make you deem yourself as worthy or successful in a room full of other pedos or other elites or other higher ups. And this is why society has to be dumbed down because people cannot really understand how ignorant their blissfulness really is. And our ignorance to our blissfulness comes from a virus. It comes from a hydra. It comes from archons. And what's crazy, archons are programmed by a higher consciousness as well. So even though we're at war with principalities, different archangels, just different angels in general. Like, it's not even just angels because they're fallen. So it's like these beings, these watchers, they're in heaven already while living in hell. So they're in the same realm as us. Not only that, they have been through lifetimes, eons, centuries. They've been through timelines that we don't even know about. Not only that, who do you think creates the timelines? So this is where they were able to manipulate the ego once again, even before 2024. And that's the craziest thing to me. People believe that we've been here for 2024 years. It's like, if you believe that, you are enslaved, and your mind has been enslaved for 2024 years. It's like you've been here way longer than that. And they were able to construct that into your mind to make you forget, which is why people's souls get harvested every single day. And that's the whole point. The whole point is to keep us away from our true creator, our almighty divine creator, our almighty God, whatever you want to call God. You know, our divine creator is the true essence of our spiritual nature. And they obviously know how to get us away from our true mission, because the mission, there's so many missions that they want to accomplish. And one of them is to make sure you don't make it to heaven. But what is heaven? It's consciousness. It's a way of thinking. You have to believe that you're in heaven to see heaven. You have to see heaven to feel like you're in heaven. You have to feel heaven to hear what heaven looks like. You have to smell it. You have to breathe it. You have to walk it. You have to be heaven. You have to embody heaven. You cannot go there physically. You have to embody it. You have to walk in that light. But why would a demon want you to make it to heaven when you're living in hell with the demon? Why would a demon want you to see beauty when you're not used to it, and they're not used to it? Not only you're not used to it, they're not used to seeing heaven. So why would they want you to see it? Why would they want you to know what that looks like? Why would they want you to succeed? Why would they want you to escape the simulation that people call Earth or hell or the Matrix? Why would they want you to escape your own prison that you painted for yourself? No, they want us to make sure that we don't make it to our higher selves. They want us to make sure that we don't make it to our divine blissfulness of a eternity that we call heaven or outer space. And outer space is nothing but a higher part of your mind, because your mind is outer space. You're like, once you overthink and you go within your mind, you meditate, you are in outer space. You create outer space. That's exactly why NASA, not a space agency, exists, because they were deemed and created to lie to people about outer space, because why they created it. And that lets you know right then and there, if you can create space for billions of people, then what else can you create? You can create a government. You can create distractions. You can create schools, cars, roads, lights, buildings. How is a building if it's already built? Like, how are you building a building when it's already built? So it's like, how are these, like, where did cars come from? These come from these beings right here, creating these things from a higher perspective. So what's done above is also done right below us. So these things happen in the 4D and the 5D before they happen in the 3D realm. So you have to be in the astrals now. You have to be in the cosmos. You have to be in the quantum realm. You have to be in the ether. You have to be in a Sirius star system to even see beyond the perception of your third eye. Because demonic forces, fallen angels, the watchers, the Nephilim, which is a reflection of you, the Anunnaki, the fallen angels of Kai, all these extraterrestrial entities that people talk about, they're able to create the prison that our ego lives in, because they're that high of what a frequency is. They don't even talk English. They use frequencies. They are that enlightened to where they don't have to use their mouth to talk. They use telepathy. But that's why we have a CIA, that's why we have a government in place of these things, to comprehend where they come from, because people can't comprehend where they come from, because where do you come from? If you're an alien, how are you an alien when you are sharing it around with other aliens? So what is an alien? So that means we've been alienated from our land to be in Babylon, to be watched, to see what we're doing, to see how we're living, to see if we're going to do things for money, to see if we're actually going to allow them to enslave us and allow us to go to these school systems, because they create it. They tell you that you have to work a 9-to-5 job to work for somebody else to get yourself on your feet. And if you don't, you got to pay taxes, or you're going to be homeless. And that's why this picture right here is shown, because it's a frequency barrier. Like, we're literally enclosed within our own mind. And in order for us to even escape our mind, we had to know both perspectives. Like, you had to literally learn about hell while you're living in it. And as you collect so much light within your spirit, thus you are able to escape from the darkness and enter the light. Once you enter the light, you're able to manipulate what people have said to your spirit, because you won't be able to talk once you reach the higher perspective of this realm. Once you leave this realm and your body stays in a coffin or gets cremated, at this moment, everything that you have stained your spirit to do, to think, or be is how you're able to perceive heaven. It's how you're able to not reincarnate back into the same recycling bin that you've been in since year one, since before Christ, before AD, before BCE, all these timelines, all these different portals that we have traveled through. Once we are able to fully understand who our creator is, not knowing that we are the creators of our creator, meaning that a creator created us through a creator's perspective, because we are the creators of our creator, literally and figuratively. And as we're able to perceive that, we have to know that we are in a firmament. We are in our mother's womb. So we live in our mother. We live in a perception of a stage of a world that's really being watched to see how we're developing, because the war is about us. It's over our mind. And like, if they can control our mind, then they got us right where they want us. But higher entities do not want that to happen. That's exactly why there are spiritual beings awakening every single day, every single year, who watch every certain video of spirituality or just consciousness in general, because it's information. You have to obtain information to take it on with you in the next life, because if you don't learn anything right now, you will perish for a lack of knowledge. That's why you have to understand it's important to be reading and writing and learning new things every day. You have to get better 1% every single day, because if you're not, you're literally killing yourself. You have to stimulate your mind, and you have to grow outside of your mind. Once you grow outside of your mind, then your mind will be able to grow outside of itself. Once you become open-minded to your unconscious ways, then you'll be able to observe the simulation and the distractions that the simulation presents towards our ego, and that our ego believes it to be real because it's all the ego knows. But we have to understand that our spirit knows everything and is everything and is nothing. So we see everything before we even seen it physically. But you have to pay attention to the teachings. You got to pay attention to the perception of your mind and the perception of where you are as a level. Once you're able to climb different levels, and once you're able to perceive the levels that you're at, then you'll be able to grow on any other level that you do reach, because that's all this is. Life is nothing but a level. It's a way of thinking. So once you're able to think and speak frequencies, then frequencies will speak to you, and you'll be able to enter rooms to where you'll learn more information about how to go about this simulation. Not only that, you can be the simulation. You can create your own simulation and manifest and affirm anything you want, because you were designed and ordained to live out the life that you want and manifest anything that you want and attract anything that you want. But you have to believe it, and you have to understand no matter what, there will always be negative things trying to stop you from your shine. But are you going to let negative things stop you from shining when you were born to shine? You should never let anything dim your light, God. That's the whole key for you to learning and waking up every single day, so that you don't have to worry about the past. Even though it happened for a temporary reason. Why? You came here to fulfill your purpose. And what is it? You don't have one, so you create it. Once you create it, you know what you're doing, because your spirit has taught you these things before you signed your soul contract. I love you. Have a great, wonderful day.